Yo, this is Santi Umami here,
I'm Dyslexic Ape,
and
and
this
this
is
is
Jetnami.
Jetnami.
All right, man. This is our first podcast, first time.
Yeah.
You want to start with your introduction?
You can go ahead. I'm
Okay.
still trying to gather myself after our rocky start.
Oh yeah. We recorded this intro like literally 4 or 5 times, and we just could not get it right. So then we're like, yo, let's just take the audio clips and just put them together. And I'm like, yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
We were trying to do it in sync, and we couldn't get it in sync naturally, so we were just going to fix it in post.
Yeah, make
if
it
you
sound
will.
nice and good. Well, now everyone knows, so they know our lie.
They know the lie. It's okay.
Well,
Honesty
okay.
is the best policy.
Our entire lives are lies anyway. All right. Speaking
to
of
get the meta.
lies, we gotta talk about ourselves.
Ourselves. Yeah, we didn't even introduce.
We didn't. This is more important, obviously. Talking about that. Okay. So, I am Santi Unami. I had a YouTube channel before. I was raving reviews. I reviewed movies. It's pretty cringe. I was in high school. to be honest, like a lot of them weren't that great. I tried some side projects talking about things, mostly history and culture and film, called Real Culture. But I want to go back to film again, and this time not put on a show. Just kind of do it the way I would talk about it if I were to sit down and have a conversation with someone. And I'm gonna go from there. So personally, I do IT work. I work with computers. Right now I'm learning certified ethical hacking. I like to play the bass. I like editing videos. I like making film. I like reading. I like fantasy novels.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good idea of who I am as of right
intro.
now. What about you?
Yeah, so
Dyslexic Ape.
Yeah, Dyslexic Ape. My YouTube channel is just now being solidified, so there's really not much to it. By the time that you guys see this, it will be up, but it's not up yet. It's going to be called Dyslexic Ape. That's what I'm going to go by. And yeah, so a little bit about myself, I guess. I guess you could consider me a musician. I make music. I don't know. I produced most of the tracks that we use for the podcast. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to. I'm not sure how to introduce myself yet because I don't have much of a footprint on YouTube. Although I did have a short-lived channel back in the day. Very much cringe. Was a Minecraft animation channel. I used to use Cinema 4D and make little Minecraft animations with my rigs that I downloaded from YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell these people right now. We go far back. We've known each other since middle school. And when we were in high school, him and I took 3D animation together. Dude, and that was lit. Him and we made a project called Mormon Tales. Which was a parody of Veggie Tales.
I forgot about that.
I was in charge of making all the vegetables, so I made like an asparagus and made like an orange and
yeah.
Oh gosh, I wrote a rap for one of the orange was gonna it was a beat. It was a beat, and the beat was rapping. And
jeez,
do you remember this?
That? Yeah, that was all scrubbed from my mind, and now here it is, resurfaced.
So yo, I beat the beat. I beat my beat. I beat my wife, and I beat my kids. That's what he would say. And I was gonna record it, but I was like, no, the teacher's gonna fucking.
That didn't stop you before. You did a lot of stuff like that. Oh,
dude. I can't even... Like, if people actually know, like, me for real, like, you'd be like, what the hell's wrong with this kid? Like, in high school, I had a video. It was a school project. It was supposed to be about, like, characters in mythology. And, like, I, like, YouTube pooped the shit out of that video. Like I would, all the stereotypical YouTube poop stuff, but like I would throw in clips of Filthy Frank, and in one he says, "Where the fuck are your parents?"
Yeah,
And I didn't.
that was very time relevant at the time.
It was a very time relevant meme. Obviously, it shows its age now, but back in like 2017, like yeah,
That was the shit right there.
it was very much relevant. 2017, 2018, and I didn't bleep out the swear word. And not only that, I didn't level the audio levels on the video, so it was louder than all the other clips. And not only that, but when it aired, it was super loud, and everyone was like, when it aired, and the teacher, she was not happy. But to be fair, she was like a super hippie, so she wasn't gonna do anything. She was very much the live and let live, non-violence. So I got away with losing 1 point from my overall grade on that project. So I still got like a 80 something.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but she's like, yeah, if I was in such a good mood, I could have got you suspended for that. I'm like, yeah, probably could have.
Probably could have.
Probably could have. Yeah. Well, all right, man. We could go on and on.
Yeah, I know. We could.
Talking about all this stupid stuff we've done.
Yeah. So we'll save that for other episodes because we're gonna need all those stories, and trust me, there's plenty. There's surplus.
But
should we go over the Should we go to? Excuse me. Should we go over our general schedule or our working schedule as of right now for what we're looking for?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple. I'll tell you guys right up front. Like I'm thinking about Wednesdays and Fridays. I think that's a good schedule.
I'd agree.
I feel like maybe it should be a shorter video on Wednesday and then longer on Fridays.
Yeah. Well, we're still in the planning phases here, but
We really are.
Let's
give a brief rundown about what Jetnami even is. Really, I think that's key.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to take lead on that? Because
yeah,
it was sort of your passion project that we both just kind of brought to fruition.
I think it's like Chris and I, since middle school, we would sit down, talk about cartoons that were popular at the time, cartoons from our childhood, your general piece of media like that, and we would throw in history, politics, religion, just whatever, and just have this strange mixture as our side product, kind of like when you're at McDonald's and you mix all the drinks together at the soda fountain, and it's just it's strange, but it works,
Absolutely.
That's honestly what I think this is. And for me, it's a really high form of self-expression, just being authentic, being real. Chris and I have been doing this since forever. I'm like, bro, I would want to listen to us say this.
Yeah.
I feel like other people would probably want to listen too, maybe.
Hopefully. That's the goal.
Yeah.
But we're still trying to find our style in this yet. I had a podcast once with somebody else, and that we recorded one episode, and it wasn't very good. So this is my I guess my return campaign.
This is your redemption arc.
It's my redemption arc, the podcast redemption arc, and YouTube, because I'm now no longer going to be making Minecraft animations, which, by the way, no longer exist. I'm really sad about that, but they were all they're all lost to time, and I wish I still had them. I only have one image that proves that that channel existed, and that is also somewhat buried, but I saw it recently.
Bro. Man, I still have all my old YouTube videos. They're all privated, but I still got them all.
Oh, yeah.
That's important to me. I want to keep a good archive of all that.
Yeah, I'd rather not have archived my Minecraft animations. Now, I'm no don't get it confused here. I wasn't anything special. They were very low quality, and it was very much obvious that I was a middle schooler animating on Cinema 4D. However, at the time, I thought that was badass.
Yeah, we thought they were great.
I thought it was awesome. I used to storyboard. I was like, dude, I'm basically an animator. I'm gonna be an animator. And then I went to high school, and I was like, I appreciate animation, but I don't know if I could ever be an animator.
But we both thought we would be animators and shit. in high
Yeah.
school, man. Like we were
Yeah.
like, I remember I went up to one of our teachers. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to University of the Arts. Oh, it's gonna be great, dude. And then I don't know, maybe I'll go to Cal Arts. And he's like, that's gonna be expensive. And I'm like, nah,
No, it's all right.
I'll be
It'll all work
fine.
out.
And then you see the amount, you're like $40,000.
Holy.
Oh my gosh, my guy. There ain't no. I can't do that. Come on.
No.
You know. Yeah. But I still do
Yeah.
want to do stuff like that on the side.
No, yeah, I definitely.
Yeah.
I don't want to commit either of us to anything here, but I have a passion in voice acting. I have dabbled in voice acting before, and Santi over here and I have had projects we've worked on before in class, but we've also had projects that we've sort of spitballed outside of class in terms of animation and overall, producing something. None have come to fruition yet, but they're still on the table. Still, there's like skeletons of most of them.
The seeds are there. I'll talk about one. This idea I've had for a while. I had one that was more based off of superheroes, and I've had to really retool that a lot after My Hero Academia came out, because it was very similar to My Hero Academia, but this was prior to the manga being big, and this was prior to the anime existing. So I won't get too much into that, but I've had to retool that and include things from the military and my personal experiences in with that as well. But the big idea I still have that I feel like no one's really done as much is this idea called Soaring 20s. So it takes place during the 1920s. It follows a gang of 420 somethings, and they have this vehicle called the Wily Kit, and it's half car, half plane. It like can transform and change, and one of the characters is a mechanic, but essentially
Chitty chitty bang bang type deal.
Actually, you know what? I've never seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I just know the scene where the car flies.
Yeah, I watched. Now, granted, I only saw that movie like once or twice, but I definitely did see it.
Bro, all those like Anglo Disney movies with the singing and the dancing, I never saw as a kid because my parents are not like Anglos per se, So like, people were like, "Oh, Mary Poppins," and they talk about all. I'm like, I don't know what any of this is.
Yeah.
I know, like, I've had some cultural osmosis from it, but like, I didn't grow up watching these films. Or like, was it Nanny McPhee and stuff? I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Nanny McPhee, you never saw that one? That was another good one.
No, I do remember one time I went to the Applebee's with my granduncle, and they had Nanny McPhee like placemats. But it's Applebee's, so there's no toys. It's not like, it's just like the placemats and Nanny McPhee's ugly mug on them, and I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, I want to go home.
That's poor advertising. Why would they do that? That's not a selling point.
Are you telling me, Chris, that you don't want to eat with some like elderly woman's large anti-Semitic nose in your face? She really was kind of like, if I can remember correctly, she looks like something out of like a 1920s propaganda poster.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I believe they even made a second. Don't quote me on that, but actually, I'll look that up right now. I believe there's a.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was either a sequel or a remake.
Nanny McPhee Returns? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Nanny McPhee Returns.
Oh man, it's a real thing.
What was this reviewed? I don't see any reviews for this. Oh wait. 6.1 out of 10. So generally positive. I mean, but like no raving reviews about it.
Yeah, none by me.
None by you.
Yeah, my old YouTube channel was raving reviews. I don't know whether I'm gonna make a new one or just retool my old one, but yeah, I'll think about it later.
Both our channels are still kind of being held up in like a purgatory right now. We're not really sure what the situation is, but we just know that we're each gonna do our own side ventures on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
But this is our collaborative channel, and as of right now, it's mostly dedicated. It's going to be dedicated to the podcast, but Maybe we'll also upload like collaborative content to it. I don't know. We'll
Oh yeah.
see.
Honestly, with just like Chris and I, man, like, fucking, I'm
And
down. I'm
we
down.
literally do like we're pretty much we cover all the creative bases pretty much. We can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. With our powers combined, we can do a lot of damage. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. For good or bad, that's for you to decide. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's your interpretation.
Alright, you want to get into the topic?
Sure, we can talk about.
Aight.
Wait, which one first? Are we gonna talk about?
I feel like Scooby Doo is the best introduction, man.
Scoobert Doobert.
Scoobert Doobert. I'm telling you, like zoinks.
Zoink Scoob. But no. What would you say is your favorite of the Scooby Doo movies? I know that is a loaded question because they are all masterpieces, including the John Cena one. But if you had to pick one, what would it be?
You know, that's a tough question, man. I do have to say, and I think everyone kind of would agree with me. The best Scooby Doo movie by far is the 2002 movie.
Okay.
It's obviously the best because
Which one's that? The live action?
Yeah, dude, Scrappy Doo pisses on Daphne.
Yes, I remember that. I watched that movie one time when I had a 103 fever, and I was like, I don't even know. I was like transposed into the movie. I was like experiencing everything. It was just a horrifying, surreal event.
You were begging to God that it was just a fever dream. You're like, please Lord, make this not be real.
Oh goodness, yeah.
I'm joking. That movie sucks.
That was a formative experience and not for the positive.
No. So about 3 to 4 years before that, my favorite Scooby Doo movie, I'd have to say, is Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
Okay.
And that's part of the. If you guys don't know, I'll give you guys a little bit of background. There was an era in the Scooby Doo film franchise in like the mid to late 90s called the Scooby Doo Dark saga, and that's about. It's debated amongst Scoobstorians.
Storians. Is that their actual title? Or is that just what
I just made that up? I just made that up right then and there. I don't. It should be a term.
They've now been dubbed Scoobstorians.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or Doobie Files as
Doobie Files.
Yes.
Okay. So you
gotta go saying, yo man, do you partake in the do?
Are you a fellow Doobophile?
Yeah, aye. Okay, so the reason why I like Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost so much, and this is just me, is one thing I really liked about just all of the Scooby Doo dark movies in general. Now, obviously, there's like 3 major ones, and there's like a 4th redheaded stepchild, and that's Cyber Chase. But the 3 major ones, you get a real sense of a culture in each one, and it was really cool about it is you get a sense of Americana culture, which I feel a lot of times in media people are like, oh, America doesn't have a culture, America doesn't have cultures, but it's like America has certain areas of America have very rich cultures that I feel are completely kind of stepped to the side or viewed as not being important because
I agree with that.
They would say they have like a later origin or creation. I'm like, bruh, go look at like Italy. Perfect example. Italy didn't become a nation until like what? I think Dyslexic Ape would know. He's of the spaghetti variety.
I'm of the Italian descent. Yeah. I'm not positive on the exact date of unification, but I believe it was like just prior to World War One, if I remember correctly. So it's relatively recently. In the grand scheme of things, because it used to be like a bunch of fractured kingdoms
and papal states, yeah, pretty much. But like that's pretty young, and so is France, so is Germany. Like a lot of countries are actually like that. Now, obviously, they have roots that go back further, But like, basically, my point is what I like about The Witch's Ghost is that you really get to see New England. What I love about those films, they really try to puts you in the perspective of the culture, and they spend a lot of times just having the people walk around, interact with locals, and eat the local foods. Which, of course, Shaggy and Scooby are like, oh man, like this is good. Like, like stuff like obviously it's for a comedic effect at some points, but like it's cool to see those other cultures. Like what I liked about the Witch's Ghost, if I can remember correctly, they go to a diner. It's like they serve nothing but New England food. They have like clam chowder and the whatnots, the fish and things that are popular in the region. They delve into their history. They delve into the fact that New England was settled by a lot of Puritans and how that kind of Anglo-Protestant culture affects them. And then what's cool about them is that in those Scooby Doo Dark movies, each one of the villains is an important figure, relatively speaking, within their culture, or plays a role within their culture. Like if you know anything about Zombie Island's probably the most famous because it was the first of the movies, and I think to a certain extent it is kind of more critically acclaimed than The Witch's Ghost. But what I like about The Witch's Ghost, I guess, is that it's kind of like the unsung hero. I feel like it's the one that isn't really talked about as much. The only reason why I don't put the third one, which I think was about aliens, I forget what it's called at the top of my head, is that I never really liked aliens in the Scooby Doo franchise. I don't know. I don't feel... It's a bit too sci-fi, I feel, for Scooby Doo.
Was it Scooby Doo Alien Invaders?
Yeah, like it's cool. It's a really cool movie. I don't know. I don't know what my stance is on sci-fi and Scooby Doo.
It was an odd. It was kind of an oddball. I would agree that it's probably like the black sheep of the Scooby Doo movies, where it's kind of like it's not a bad movie by any means. No. I remember enjoying the movie, but I did think it was sort of like off-brand slightly.
A little bit, yeah, because I feel like most of the creatures are very earthly. Yeah. I can't think of any. Well, obviously, people would argue, well, if it's not earthly, wouldn't it be an alien? And I'm like, fair enough. But it's just, I never felt like they had a sci-fi vibe. They were either like cultural, mythological figures or cryptids. I feel like I can't think of any that weren't of that variety.
No, I would agree.
Can you? I can't. Outside of the aliens.
No, I can't really think. I would say, though, if I had to talk about The Witch's Ghost, if I had to give my input on The Witch's Ghost, I would say it gets like a solid 9.5 from me. Not because the actual movie's content, because I haven't watched it in quite some time, but I do remember that the Hex Girls were in that movie. So
yes.
It immediately gives it a little bump. It's all right.
Oh, yes. Goth Girls.
I forget what their... I forget what their actual names are because
the Hex Girls.
Yeah, I forget their individual names.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a excuse me, a dubophile. So
yeah, Chris does not remember girls' names.
No, I'm all right.
No, actually, I got it right in front of me. I can tell you their names.
Oh, actually?
Yeah.
Let's freaking go.
Sally, Thorn, McKnight, Dust, and Luna.
Really?
So Thorn, Dust, and Luna.
Amazing.
Yeah. I forgot one is like kind of racially ambiguous.
Yeah, I remember.
I felt like that was very much a thing in the early 2000s. Like you gotta have like the one has to have light hair, one has to have dark hair.
Character of ethnicity.
Or like a blonde or a ginger, and then you just have to have one that's just like ethnically an ethnic a mush.
It's very vague what they are.
Yeah, like Totally Spies had that too.
Yeah.
They have the one girl's like, what ethnicity is she? And people are like, oh, she's Latina.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I remember that.
I'm like, bro.
I always thought she was Latina. That was my default.
It's like it's possible, but it was made in Quebec in like the the early 2000s. Like,
yeah,
as someone who has family from Quebec, I'm like, there's not a lot of Latinos in Quebec in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's possible. Definitely is possible.
Definitely possible. I don't know.
But I think I remember reading she was like Asian, I think, or like half Asian, half something else. I don't know. I really don't know. But like, yeah, has the Hex Girls. It's got cool New England culture. I think it also has a really cool twist. I think that's what I liked about it. I'm not gonna spoil the twist in case you haven't seen it, but like it's up there. It's definitely, if I were to argue what's objectively the best like animated Scooby Doo movie, I'd probably have to say Zombie Island. But
Really?
like, if we're talking about like what's my favorite, I'd probably have to say The Witch's Ghost. That's how I would say it. I'd say all the movies in the Dark series are really high up there in general, but Witch's Ghost is my choice.
Yeah,
What about
that's a
you?
good one. Um, so yes, thinking of this long and hard, as I previously stated, the Scooby Doo anthology, however you would classify it, is a masterpiece, and I would have to settle on my favorite probably being Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase would probably be my favorite.
Decent choice, made in 2001.
Yes, it I don't. So again, it's been quite some time since I've seen this movie actually, and I really need to rewatch it. I don't know where to find that though. Of
Pirated.
legal sources. Yeah, I was gonna say of legal sources. I don't know where to find it, but
Yo
um,
ho, you are a pirate. It's
but
impossible to find it regularly nowadays.
yeah,
It's
I have
hard,
no
man. It's
idea.
really hard.
No, because it's a movie from 2001 that I don't remember even airing all that much. I mean, it did air a fair bit, but it
They,
wasn't like anything crazy.
they would air it a decent amount. The thing is, they would always air Zombie Island.
Yes, I do remember Zombie Island. I I don't know. If I had to settle on a reason as to why I was this Scooby Doo is the most fond to me is honestly it. Part of it I'm gonna say is definitely the rose tinted glasses nostalgia. Nostalgia bait because this was a movie of my childhood.
Yeah.
But I actually thought the concept of them being in a video game about them was pretty interesting
It is, yeah.
because then they met like themselves but styled how the original style was because they had taken up a more like modernized 2000s sort of look to them, but the characters in the game looked like from the 60s.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that they really kind of poke fun of themselves in their past with that whole meta, old Scooby Shaggy and the gang meet new Scooby Shaggy and the gang.
Yeah, so then wait a minute, does that imply that Scooby Doo is like how old would that make him? Assuming
Scooby?
assuming that they've been around since the 60s, they've acknowledged that they've been around since the 60s and have advanced past that.
I'm gonna do the math right now, but that dog dead. That's all I'm saying. That dog.
Especially because he's a Great Dane and they only live like 5 years, 5 to 6, or it's like 7 to 8 years. I think is actually the lifespan.
Bro, that reminds me of a meme I saw, and it was
Oh no.
yeah, it was it's what did it say? It said Scooby Doo 2002 cast reunion, and it's like all of the actors, and so I'll put in the comments, "Where's Scooby?" It's like that dog dead. That dog wasn't even real. It was just CGI.
One of the best parts of that movie, the live action movies, I will say, was Matthew Lillard, I believe is his name.
Is that the nerdy dude?
No, that's the guy who plays Shaggy in those movies.
Ah.
I believe it's Matthew Lillard. Is it? Yes, I was correct. Okay, so yeah, Matthew Lillard. Honestly, all around, he's a pretty good actor, and I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of him in my recommended recently, and I don't know, he seems like a genuinely cool guy.
Oh yeah, I feel like if you have to play Shaggy, you just have to be chill.
Yeah, it's like,
it's required.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Oh, definitely,
man.
Like, smoke some doob.
Like, Scoob, we're a PS1 game.
Yeah, no, like, seriously, though, like, this is how old, Scooby would have been. He would have been 32, man.
Oh my god. Scooby probably had a mortgage at that point.
Yeah, this dude's old enough to be paying his taxes. He's old enough to get audited by the IRS. Ruh-roh.
Scooby is a conscientious objector to paying taxes.
Like, what's his religion? Is he Amish?
Yeah.
Scoob, you don't use technology? Oh.
Really?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I see Scooby as Amish, more
No,
like
he's a-
Meta Knight.
He's like a Presbyterian.
Yeah, he has to be very like vanilla version of Protestantism. Just like he's like a Presbyterian or like a Methodist. Yeah, that's about it. I can see it.
Fantastic.
I can see
What
it.
about? Do you have, if you had to pick a obscure show from any like an obscure cartoon from any of the networks back in, we'll say like the late 90s, like 98 to 2010. If you had to pick a show in that time frame that you think doesn't get enough recognition, what would you say?
Bro, we're already gonna talk about Robot Boy. We already decided this, my guy.
You think? Like I was reevaluating this. I really like Robot Boy, but I don't remember how good it actually was because it's kind of been.
Oh, it's not great. It's not great. Oh, you're talking. Okay, I was thinking like, yeah, later we're gonna talk about Robot Boy, but if we're just talking about in general, like a show.
Yeah, I'm just talking in general.
Okay.
We are gonna talk about Robot Boy.
We are gonna talk about Robot Boy.
Our
I'd argue that's gonna be like the main. No, I don't know if it'll be the main topic per se, but yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about Robot Boy later on.
Robot Boy.
That's a good question, and I always feel like I gotta rep French Canadian shows simply because like I watch so much French Canadian shows. Yeah, so weirdly enough, I just looked this up. Robot Boy was made in Britain and France.
Actually?
Yeah, like Heike, Loki, Heike. So it is kind of technically a French show. But I want to talk about. I hope I can remember this right. Marvin Mysteries. Marvin Mystery? Let me see if that's what his name was.
Marvin Mystery.
Martin Mystery. That's what it was called.
Oh.
Bro, that show. This dude looks like a How to Draw Manga version of Johnny Test.
Honestly, it really just looks like. It looks like. Oh man, it really just looks like a book that you would find at like the Scholastic Book Fair or something.
Yeah, like a How to Draw Manga book from the. Dude, Scholastic Book Fair is when I first got introduced to Shaman Jump.
What is that?
You don't remember Shaman Jump? It was like a manga that had like each newest edition of all the big manga that were coming out at the time.
I had no idea.
And it was for like a few dollars. It was like $4 or $5, and like it would have like the newest edition of Naruto, the newest edition of Prince of Tennis, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh. A lot of times they have Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the back. But then some douchebag would always open it up and take out the Yu-Gi-Oh card and leave it on the shelf. And that pissed me off. Actually, when I was deployed, someone handed me a Shaman Jump. One of my friends, who's a religious affairs specialist, what part of his job is to make sure people stay happy, while you're overseas. And he handed me a Shaman Jump, and it was like in good condition, and it still had the Yu-Gi-Oh card in it.
Did you take it?
Of course I took it. It was like some weird Stardust Dragon variant, and I'm like,
oh.
The manga was old. Like that. The manga he actually gave me was from like 2000 something. Like it was from like 2009 or 2010.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I think I may still have it. I hope I didn't throw it out.
It really this Martin Mystery, is that what it is?
Yeah, Martin Mystery.
He really looks like Johnny Test. Like, you're really not. That's not a joke. I completely forgot about this because wasn't there a crossover of this show and was it Totally Spies? Yeah. Like we were talking about Totally Spies earlier.
Yeah, it was made by the same studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this French Canadian studio was huge. Apparently, the show was based off of an Italian comic book, but the show was produced by French artists in Montreal, I should say. And what was big at the time, as this what I call it for anime, French anime, because it has Oh dang! Wait, does this take place in Sherbrooke, Quebec? Oh dang, it does. Dude, I'm having like some. I'm not gonna get into that now, but that's crazy. Dude. There's a lot of detail, but yeah, basically, it was really big at the time in the early 2000s to do something called Fran anime, which is like French Canadian artists, French artists. A lot of times they would get Korean studios involved as well, but in general, that's pretty common in animation. They would, based off of the Japanese anime, and most of them were kind of garbage. Like, I'm gonna be real. There's one Nickelodeon one. It was like My Life or My Teen Life, and it was horrible. It was just complete cringe. But Marvin Mysteries was decent. It was like there's this kid named Martin, obviously, like the 16-year-old boy who's like obsessed with like these like paranormal creatures and monsters, and then he becomes like a paranormal investigator. And he teams up with this girl named like Diana and Java the caveman. Which I looked at that dude, I'm like, dude, that guy right there looks like he's from like the Paleolithic era. When I saw him, and I'm like, is this just like some weird racial stereotype? It's like, no, he's actually like a Neanderthal. He's actually like, which makes sense because they are French.
He's a
Yeah, I'm sorry, if you guys don't know, like French people on average, I looked this up once on Ancestry or it's like some article. French people have like a disproportionate amount of Neanderthal gene.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating. I wonder where were the Neanderthal mountains located?
I believe it actually is in France. But I could be wrong. Hold on.
I need to see this. Not neutral mountains, Neanderthal. Well, they're European mountains. This is what this article says. It looks like it borders up with like modern day, like kind of like Germany, France-ish.
I see.
That's interesting. I already know someone's like, no, actually, I'm an anthropologist. It's like, okay, well, there's a lot of Neanderthal DNA in France. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Apparently, they were an extinct species who lived in what is now Eurasia, and one of the large regions of it was France. So, either way, it explains a lot. It's probably like Martin Mystery's like great grandfather, something like that.
Well, I was gonna say, going back to Martin Mystery, I'm scrolling through here just to try and jog my memory of this show, and first of all, there's a little like green homunculus that floats around with them, that should be noted right off rip.
Yeah.
And second of all, there is apparently a DS game made by Ubisoft that exists of Martin Mystery called Martin Mystery Monster Invasion. I'll make
buy that game and play it.
I'll make gameplay of Martin Mystery Monster Invasion.
Bro, let's just play the ROM together one of these days. Let's make that a video.
We could do that.
We gotta play that game. We gotta play the shitty what's it called, man? Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. They had a crappy DS game too.
No way.
That was 3D,
so
no less.
Are we gonna start going through like video game tie-ins to like shows?
I guess we have to now. We already made it official. I wanted to say no, but it's already a thing.
I'll give it a. I'll. You know what? I might do a rundown of those on my channel.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's something we gotta do together.
We can do that.
We gotta sit down and do like a let's play
of Martin Mystery. Oh no, I was gonna do maybe like a tier list video.
Oh,
once we get a good idea of them, I'll do a tier list of the not Martin Mystery specifically, but all of them. I cannot look at this little
homunculi.
This little green, I was gonna say this little fetus any longer.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
You ever seen one of the later episodes of the Flintstones?
Yeah.
You know that little like green snot ball that follows him around?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, numbnut. What was his name?
I don't remember.
I gotta look this up, dude.
Yeah, look that up. I am just the face of
the Great Gazoo.
That was his name?
The Great Gazoo. The Great Gazoo.
Green guy. Martin Mystery, little green guy. Nope.
Dude, look at them front to front. It's
What-
like
What is his name?
Satan.
Yeah, like I don't know what
I don't know.
what is. What the hell's his name? They're just saying category aliens on the fandom. Like, no, I want to know what the little homunculus's name is and why he looks like Aang had like furious intercourse with a demon.
Yeah, it's Aang had sex with the Great Kazoo.
Oh no.
Oh god.
That's horrendous. The Great Kazoo.
You know it's bad when your show is like dying, so you had to add an alien. You're like, yeah, it's over.
All right, I found like freaking like I think like Yowie on Google Images, and now I need to leave.
Was that from looking at the Martin Mystery?
Yeah.
I've seen some yaoi on here too.
Oh no. Oh god.
Yeah, just so you guys know, don't Google image search obscure anime.
Not a good idea.
It's not a good idea. You're
The
gonna run into a lot of
communities for them have been so fermented because they're so isolated that they're like it's like stepping into like a festering wound.
Oh, I hate the word fermented because it's so perfect. Oh,
That's exactly the word I would use to describe that. Fermented, like aged to perfection like a fine wine.
yeah, dude, that's like 16. I remember being really bad with that too, and that's also, to my knowledge, of anime as well.
Yeah.
A French Canadian show. Interestingly enough, who's the one dude?
Oh, wait, what are we talking about?
I'm talking about 16 for a second. That's his
16.
name. Jonesy Garcia.
Who? Oh, are you talking?
Yeah, hey,
Is that the one
Jonesy.
It's the one that takes place in the mall?
Yeah, you remember that? The dude who like acts like he's Italian, but he's not Italian. He's Latino.
Is that? Yo, I remember.
Yeah. As a kid, I just thought this dude's Italian. It's like, no, he's Latino. And I only knew that by watching the French Canadian dub because he's called Costa Rica Jones. Costa Rica Jones, and I'm like, so is he from Costa Rica? I guess. Well, it's semi-official because the French dub, and the French dub is like just as canonical as the English one, because the show's made in both,
It's valued less.
It's lesser, just like how Canada treats the French Canadians.
English is the canon language.
Oh gosh, the lesser canon from Costa Rica, the main canon he's from Puerto Rico.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's Canadian, so, or I guess he's Canadian. They never really say where these shows take place. Now, I guess in Martin Mystery, it takes place on Sherbrooke Street in Quebec, but
Like a specific like known place. Like I don't know anything about Quebec.
yeah, Sherbrooke Street's a pretty prominent road.
Huh.
Yeah. So like, that's interesting. I don't know. I know Johnny Test also takes place in Canada as well.
Johnny Test?
Yeah, because they're always playing hockey. You ever notice that? They're always playing hockey in Johnny Test.
No.
Yeah, it's Pork Belly is actually what they call the place. Yeah, but they're always playing hockey and whatnot. That show's also made in Canada as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do not keep that in
Pork
mind.
belly. Bling
Pork
bling
belly.
boy.
Bling bling. I'm bling bling. I'm bling bling.
Oh, Susan Cash.
Oh, dude, he is a little bit like a Chris Chan-esque figure.
I'm looking for a Johnny Testless red-haired female.
Johnny Testicle.
Johnny Testicle Sack. Did I ever show you oh god, I don't remember what it was called. It was a really like grotesque like Johnny Test meme where like Dookie was like made out of like flesh. It was like really weird.
I hope I never have to see that.
Oh yeah, no, it was called Johnny Flesh.
Oh, I'm not looking at that.
Just the
Anyone
implication of that. Just the
anyone at
implication
home-
of that is just bad. Don't look up
bad.
Johnny Flesh. Don't look it up. You're gonna see Dookie and he looks like a scrotum.
I have to do it now. Lord have mercy on me. I'm about to enter into the hidden gate of hell. Oh no. Oh no.
You see it?
I see. I see. I see. Chris,
Yes.
I think we're gonna put you down. I'm
I've
sorry.
forsaken.
You've forsaken reality. I have too. I'm cursed. There's no salvation for us. Okay. So, tell me how we got from Martin Mysteries to Johnny Flesh.
Johnny Flesh. Well, we started talking about how Martin Mystery looks like Johnny Test, and then I somehow
Yeah.
spiraled into like, bling bling boy.
Bling bling. Oh gosh.
Johnny Test.
Okay,
And then Dookie was like, whose leg do I have to hump to get some service around here?
Oh gosh. And there was Gil, who was like mentally retarded. Do you remember like he would hold a book upside down? He's like, "Yeah, I'm reading."
Yeah. It's like, oh, Gil, what are you doing?
Oh, Gil.
Reading? Susan, is it not obvious that I'm reading?
That I'm reading.
I'm reading. I feel like we're like transposing this like broodiness to Gil, but I feel like that was how it was. That's how I remember
Yeah,
it being.
I feel like he talks like this. It's been so long since I've seen Johnny Test, but imagine he's like, "Yo, brah, it's shway."
He's like mix of like chill stoner and also like oblivious asshole.
He's a mixture of the turtle from Finding Nemo and the chicken from Surf's Up.
Effectively.
Yeah, no, but like
That's actually almost the same being.
It is. It is one incarnate God in two persons.
Oh my god.
Or maybe three if you include Gil. I don't know if that's heresy or not. I'll have to ask. But that's my thought.
You're of the Church of the Trinity, not the Church of the Dyad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a fucking heretic. Unlike those non-believers in Gil.
Those non-believers.
They don't believe in Gil.
No, they
Do
don't.
you believe in Gil? Chris? Do you believe in Gil?
Yes, I do. Sorry, that was a loaded question I had to process. I'm just kidding. I had a mic, a weird like mic issue.
Good. Okay. So we can stay friends then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Gillen.
You're a Gillian.
I'm a Gillian, a
You're a
Gillite.
Gilead.
I'm of the tribe of Gillite.
Yes. Do you remember the Johnny Test theme is like literally a ripoff American Idiot?
Is that? Oh yeah.
Dude, listen to the
I didn't even
instrumental.
think
It's
about that.
literally- I don't know how they didn't get sued. It's literally just American Idiot. Like literally, it's just American Idiot.
Kinda.
They changed the lyrics, obviously. Did you know they actually did a reboot of Johnny Test?
Did they?
Yeah, like a week or two ago. I'm not even joking.
Wait.
I didn't mention that, but I watched someone do a review of it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's not bad.
Actually, hold on.
Like, it
I
looks
might
better
have
than the
to-
original show."
I may have to look into this. Reboot.
Yeah, it's picked up for Netflix for 2 seasons.
I see that.
Yeah, man. It looks good. Like visually, it looks good.
Like, yeah, I'm cursed. All of this is horrendously cursed. I made the mistake of Johnny Test reboot and went to images, and everything I see is just I can
Horrible.
only John. What is this? This is like a battle between Johnny Test, like when he's in that superhero form, about to fight like Donald Trump.
You
I
tell me
don't
that's not the
understand.
ultimate conflict?
Unstoppable force versus immovable object. He's been a big name as of recent, but I feel like not many people are super well versed in, well, I was gonna say the inner machinations of his mind, but I don't think anybody's well versed in that. That would be you would need a lifetime of study.
Yeah, it's like being a priest or a prophet. You need to dedicate your life to something like that. No, but like Dyslexic Ape and I have been following Chris Chan for many years. For many years. And not to be like the hipsters, but we were kind of doing it before it was cool.
Unfortunately.
Like I remember in high school we would just sit around and we would be talking about like all this crazy stuff that happened in his life. And now that it's mainstream, like it's crazy. It's crazy to see how it goes from something underground. People look at you like you're strange, but now I'll literally be at parties or hanging out with friends, and like people who would never talk about Chris Chan start asking me questions like, "What do you know?" And I'm like,
Too
"A lot."
much.
Fortunately,
I had to fill
I know
in
too much.
one of my friends as of recent all about Chris Chan. Unfortunately, I had to be the one to break that news to him and let him know just a touch, just like a simple sampling, we'll say, of the lore of Chris Chan.
Yeah,
I didn't get
it's like a charcuterie board
charcuterie
of
board
Chris Chan.
adorned with unclit.
Yo, just like shit and smelly watermelon.
Oh
Some
no.
Axe body spray. Like none of the delicious stuff.
Smashed
I'm not
real
talking
good.
about like mortadelle or like blue cheese. I'm talking about like no. Garbage. Moldy hot pockets. That's what we're talking about. Joy!
No.
Dude, can I say right now, the Christian impression done by Dyslexic Ape is amazing.
I don't know.
I'm saying every time we hang out, I mean, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Do your Christian impression.
I'm working on it. Oh. You just have to his little mannerisms.
every
He's got a lot of and when he's trying to like form his thoughts, he's just like he starts making like uncomfortable sounds.
Yeah, it's the hamster wheel is spinning forward
Yeah.
and it has to spin backwards.
Yeah,
back
it's
tread
like
a little bit.
those those cars where you have to rev them up a little bit and then they go. It's like that. Like you have to rev up the you have to rev the
gosh.
wheels and then you put it on the floor and it goes wild. Yeah.
One of those Hot Wheels toys. Oh my gosh. It's kind of like Obama. Obama's like, cat abortion.
Oh,
He's got to think first.
like Obama.
Fuck you, Chris. You had sex with your mother.
It was consensual. My love quest is over.
I don't care if it's consensual. You need to die. According to the Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, you need to die
God,
for what you did.
I can't even. So, are we gonna? I mean, I feel like it's fairly well known at this point what he's done, but I guess we'll touch on it. He basically. Okay, actually, there's a bit more to it now that I've heard, but I don't know the validity of all of it, so I'm going to keep it with what I know, and then I'll tell you what I can't confirm. Okay? So from what I know, obviously, Chris Chan did the dirty with his mother, who he's been living with since birth. I mean, he hasn't left the house. He just lives there. And yeah, they No,
just
it's
strange
so
being.
hard to like articulate
Yeah,
everything that's happened, and like because there's
it
so much
is.
context to everything.
Well,
Like I know that sounds wild, but
there is.
apparently this is unconfirmed. This I can't confirm.
Yeah.
There's the possibility that he was coerced into it, which wouldn't be the first time he's been coerced into doing stuff that he definitely would not have done otherwise. And which is unfortunate, but it happens a
It's
lot
very
throughout
common.
his life.
No, like absolutely. And that's the thing about most of the crazy things in Christian's life is that he is just famous for having events where I'd argue the majority of his fame is the fact that he's just so gullible and so moldable. Any troll of any variety can come at him in all sorts of different angles and get him to reveal deeper things about his psyche, his subconscious, that just enlighten us at what a strange being he is. And right now I just realized we're kind of telling a framed story. For those of you who don't know, it's when you tell a film by showing the end and then flashing back, showing how the character was shaped over time by events. But yeah, I would argue that really this is the start of, I should say, really, this is the end of the Christian verse, What we're telling right now is the end, at least our knowable end, what we're at with him essentially assaulting his mother, or raping, I should say, because she has dementia.
That's an important factor.
It
also,
is.
it's sorry, not to cut you off, but it's interesting to mention how this case almost, well, I wouldn't say almost, but had a very strong possibility of being an actual case that would go to a higher court than just the state of Virginia, not necessarily the Supreme Court itself, but like some type of like higher court would see this case because of the fact that Christian now identifies as what is she?
He identifies as
she, but like what's the name
She.
that she uses now? I forget. Christine, yes, that's
Christine.
right. And they weren't sure how to make the ruling on. It had to do with the incest laws in the state not being applicable to daughter-mother, and then it was like, well, do we recognize somebody who identifies as a woman, but hasn't made the transition yet? And so the fact that Christian could have almost, I would say graced, but that's a stretch, law books for future lawyers, was just too much for me to handle. So I kind of tuned out of this whole case for a while.
Yeah. You tell me you don't want to see the Supreme Court case when you're taking APUS called Chandler versus the Commonwealth of Virginia?
I don't know if I compare that. If I had to, like, if I have a child someday and they come home with homework like about that case, I will I'll change school districts immediately.
You can't leave it statewide.
No. Damn you, Common Core.
You gotta leave the country.
Damn you, Common Core.
So basically, the reason why we're doing this is we want to talk about Christian's life, one moment at a time.
We're gonna kind of go through, and we haven't fully committed to this segment, but we feel like we might do we have a soft commitment to a segment, effectively kind of like a day in the life of Christian, if you will, is a soft title for a running title. We'll say, where basically we're going to, sort of will enlighten. We'll enlighten, and I use the term lightly, you guys about the lore of Christian.
Very lightly.
One little bite-sized morsel at a time. Because we can't, it's kind of like an SCP where, like, if you're exposed to it for too long, you'll form like plaques in your arteries or something, and like you'll just die from being exposed to too much Sonichu based radiation.
Oh, absolutely. I think that that's perfect. Yeah, I kind of think of it in like a
God.
pseudo-religious way. Um, kind of like how you have block scripture, like you just read a little bit at a time, and then you give like a proper explanation
Right.
or interpretation of it. My idea of this is like each week, little bit about this guy and his life, and then slowly over time we unravel. We really start to really develop who this dude is. And I think there's no better place to start than the birth, you know. Do you want me to begin?
Yeah.
Okay. Christopher Weston Chandler was born on the 24th of February in 1982 in Martha Jefferson Hospital in Charlottesville, Virginia. His parents, Robert and Barbara, worked as an engineer at Western Electric and an office worker at Virginia Power, respectively. Although little is known about Chris's toddler years, the autism papers, which is what they're dubbed, revealed that he was delayed in his language ability, which became his first sign of autism. Okay, so let's break that down just a little bit. First of all, he's born in the early 80s. I think that that's important because he's born on the 24th of February in 1982. That really gives us kind of an idea as to what he's into, why he's into it, like the fact that he's into Sonic and Pokemon. You know, very much. Honestly, I know this is a controversial thing to say, but it seems like it's very common amongst people who with males who have that being a fan of Sonic is pretty common, as well as Pokemon. So I guess you can make an argument that like that's a stereotype online, like, which makes me wonder: did that come from Sonic Chew, or was it just something that had always existed?
Yeah.
You know, that's a good question. It's kind of what came first, the chicken or the egg. That seems cruel, but I feel like a lot of the stereotypes as to what someone who has autism on the internet is very much colored, particularly males, by Chris Chan. Because he really kind of is unfortunately, he is kind of the figure who represents autism to a lot of people on the internet. For better and for worse, and mostly
I'd
for
say it's
worse.
generally not a super flattering portrayal.
No.
But you know. What the heck is that? Ah, I see. Oh God.
Yeah, so
you know it's
in the
bad
1980s.
when you see. Sorry, this is not our paragraph, but the wiki literally warns you that there's content that may be disturbing. It gives a trigger warning.
Oh yes. Well, in a deep philosophical level, it is all disturbing, but not to the same extent. It also worries me that this picture of Christian's adolescence constantly flips between him looking regular and then him slowly monster we have today. Feels like something out of a horror movie. So going off of that, born in the 1980s, the early 80s, kind of get an idea of who Chris is, which is weird because I never think of him as someone who's, in their late 30s.
He seems like
mostly because he's so emotionally stunted. I feel,
yeah.
Feels like a fully grown child. And he's born at Martha Jefferson Hospital. I need to look up this. So he's actually from Charlottesville. Like, people would make jokes like, he's from Virginia, like white supremacist jokes. Like, no, he's actually from Charlottesville. Like, he was not born away from where there were neo-Nazi protests. Yeah. Now, it's crazy. His dad, it says here he works at Western Electric. He was in, like, the Signal Corps in the Army. He worked building, like, pipelines and infrastructure, or I believe it was, like, the tail end of World War II when we started to get involved more in Korea, leading into the Korean War, ultimately. But, like, the fact that his dad did so much, he had, like, multiple patents, and then he goes on to virtually nothing with his life, it's quite sad.
It's definitely sad.
It is. Have you ever read the letter?
Yeah, the letter. I heard about that. That was
Father.
definitely sad.
Yeah, we will talk about that later down the road, but that is oof. It's really kind of a precautionary tale, honestly. Like I see stuff that Chris Chan does, I'm like, it constantly shows me that I need to be doing. Obviously, I'm not at that level, thanks be to God. But it can get like that. His mother works at Virginia Power. I don't know what that is. Let me look that up. Just looks like some generic factory. Yeah, that's all I can find. Just like a factory worker, an office worker. Well, she's an office worker, I guess, for a factory or.
I see.
So they have pretty regular, upper middle class jobs or middle class jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Chris Chan was put in a decent situation to succeed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, through many blunders of his own, but also some that were sort of like became of him, did not ever see any level of success. For positive success, that is.
Yeah,
He saw success, but not from good outlets.
Yeah, I think a big problem, people don't bring this up enough, is his mother, People talk bad about his father, but his father did a bad job at all. What I can see, it's mostly his mother who is constantly coddling and defending him. And, I think that's to do with the fact that, they made this assumption that because he was neurodivergent, that he couldn't somehow develop to be a fully functional human being. The doctor said he wouldn't be a fully functional human being, but that was in the 1980s where our knowledge of autism was very limited. And even now we're just starting to really kind of get a full grasp on how the autism spectrum actually works. But in a weird prophetic way, he was right. Chris Chan didn't end up doing anything with his life, But that has nothing, I don't think that has really much to do with autistic. There's lots of autistic people that have very functional lives, and Chris is high functioning.
Yeah, it doesn't have to do with the fact that he was autistic. It was just more or less a series of events and such that really sort of shaped him in non-positive ways.
Yeah, I think it's bad parenting. I really think it's his mother coddling him. Like when he stopped speaking when he was 6 years old, mother would just buy him toys, endless toys, if he would speak. And I think that and him winning the Sonic sweepstakes, I think at a very young age, and the bear talking to him, which he believed was a prophetic event with Leonard Bernstein, it seems like Chris has internalized this fact that he is like a main character and that the world is like a movie about himself,
Yeah.
Which is strange because you read about his story and it does seem like a movie or something that's not real.
We're all just living in the simulation of Chris Chan's movie.
Yeah, it's like the Matrix, but instead of unplugging and we're all in like one Borg brain, hive brain, just in Chris.
Oh god, that's the bad ending. That's the bad ending to the game.
Yeah. No, man. That needs to be a movie. I'd watch that.
I wouldn't. I would be horrified, but
yeah, I mean, I never said it was it's not a sci. It's more... But yeah, man. And apparently there's a set of things called the autism papers that say that he was delayed in his language ability, and this became his first sign of autism.
Really?
Yeah, which is weird because I only ever remember him really losing his speech when the babysitter kind of locked him in his...
Yeah.
Which he claims actually gave him autism. It's like, I don't think that's how it works.
Not exactly. I don't think that's how that works, but,
I'm not a medical professional. What do I know?
Yeah.
No, definitely. That's the vibe I get.
All right.
But yeah, that's the first that's the first segment in his life. It's a little bit dry because
we're not to the juicy bits yet.
No, we're just getting started. That's like the little appetizer.
Yeah.
Ugh, ugh.
If only.
Thinking of Chris Chan in the context of like food is just gross.
Yeah, if only.
Kind of like how like primates and other animals don't want to poop near their food. Like that's how I feel Chris. Like he's a physical embodiment of excrement.
Poop near the
Like the
food.
things you read are just excrement, and it's just like we just got done eating. It's like I don't want to think about that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chris Chan looks a lot like.
Oh my god.
I just realized it's G-Man from the Robot Boy.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Just now, I just looked it up, and yeah.
Yeah, Gus Turner.
Yeah. That's
They have a similar kind of build. I mean, Chris is
You said they have
Chris is not a. They do. Am I wrong?
No. No.
They look like little amorphous blobs.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, the G-Man just eats all day and watches TV. I mean,
No, what a good.
kind of like Chris.
It's kind of like him, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Except G-Man had a way cooler life. But I feel like that would be Chris if he was in an anime, just like the guy who thinks he's cool but is actually just like the weird
the
comic
sidekick
relief
of
character.
the guy who's actually cool, but he thinks
Yeah,
he's like
well-
secondhand badass.
I noticed this about a lot of cartoons early 2000s. It's like the main male character is just like the generic white guy.
Yeah, usually.
Kind of like Mac from Foster's Home, or the main character from Robot Boy, or
Yeah, they really.
the main
Dude,
character
you could
from Super Monkey Force Go. Like they're just like
swap the hair on Mac and the main character from Robot Boy, and then they would be like the same character, the same head shape.
They really are. They're so similar in just like the way they act, and they're just like generically nice. I feel like they're just like the Anglo male, or like the Anglo young child, in a nutshell of a character.
Jeez.
Like, I mean, am I wrong?
No.
You know, man, we need to make a list of like top 10 most generic, like white,
Characters.
yeah, like 5 to 12-year-olds in cartoons, because I feel like that character is just so common. Just the I'm bland, I'm generic. Like the kid from Sonic X.
Yeah.
Like he's just so similar. Except he was rich. I'd say that's the difference. Most of them are like middle class, lower middle class.
I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to
Yeah.
go to Google, right? And I want you to look
Oh,
up
no.
Robot Boy
Oh no,
followed by OC.
robot! No, no, I don't want to do this.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Oh lordy, Starbot. Okay, that's not too bad.
No, some of these actually look like they're like
I feel like the further I'm gonna scroll down, it's like descending
Yeah.
through Dante's Inferno.
up at
hell.
the top. Up at the top, you see a lot that are pretty consistent with the art style and not too crazy. But then as you go down, it's like descending into the lower
Okay.
reaches of hell.
I mean, I'm doing it, but I'm not
Whoa,
happy.
what
that
is
I'm
that?
doing it.
The PE teacher from Robot Boy was thick.
Where? I don't see it.
I don't know. It's like a picture of like a. I did not dress like any PE teacher I've ever seen, bro. What? the hell?
Chris, we're not gonna fall into hentai now.
I'm not trying to.
Now
Google,
is not the place. for
Google's
hentai.
tempting the hand. I'm getting away from here and let's go.
Chris, yeah, we need to exit out of this browser right now. This is too much. You know what? I think we just need to kill this whole thing. I can't have you transgress reality. right
We'll
now.
bring her back around for the
No.
no no more Robot Boy OCs. Though next episode, I think we should give Robot Boy the justice it deserves.
Oh, definitely. I feel like we need to actually like go through the show and actually watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch. I'll give some of it a watch just so I can refresh my
Yeah.
opinion upon it.
Yeah, we can. Some of the stuff is on YouTube. It looks like, so we can like make a watch together and just kind of comb through it.
Okay. Yeah,
A
that
little
works. We can do that.
Man, no, I'm definitely down. Dyslexic Ape and I have been discussing, like in general, like it's like an introductory podcast. You guys can get to know us, see what we're like. You know, it's a little rough around the edges, but we're starting to get our footing. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to. We're like we said, like we've dabbled in the creative before, but we've never actually never really done podcasting per se, so we're still novices at this and trying to get the sort of, the groove of it.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I feel like too. But hey, guys, thank you for tuning in to Jetnami.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely.
absolutely that was a great one.
Peace.
Peace.